Good morning, everyone. I've been promising a garden tour, and today's the day. Welcome to Stonehaven Farms, everybody. Here we go. Oops, hopefully my camera is not going to bounce around. The dogs are chewing on the base. It is Friday morning, October 10th. Happy birthday, Mom. And I am here in the garden. It is a beautiful sunny morning, but it is also like a brisk 52 degrees. So it's actually one of the first mornings that I've had to wear an extra layer outside. So welcome to fall. It's really beautiful. But I'll take you around in the garden and show you what's still growing here in October in Arkansas, and let you guys see what we've got going on. But I guess first of all, I'll show you, I'm gonna pan this way to, this is what I call my little herb garden behind me. And it's just off to the side of my bigger garden. I think I've got rosemary, chamomile, and spearmint growing in these guys over here. And then, let's see, I've got thyme, sage, and another pot of lavender. I have a larger bed of lavender, but I love it so much I'm wanting to grow some more. This is Delta Dawn. Hi, Delta. She, oh my goodness, get out of there, kitty. And in these three pots, I have got dill, cilantro, and basil. Another pot of basil. I've got another larger bed of basil as well. But this one will hopefully go inside with me for the winter. All right, so the first bed here that I've got is basil and jalapenos. And honestly, I think this bed has been the most prolific this season. Both the jalapenos and the basil have been absolutely amazing and just have grown, continued to produce all summer long. I don't know if it's the particular bed or if it's just these two particular plants. Too soon for me to know, really, because I'm so new at gardening in Arkansas. But I still am, we still are putting on peppers. Like, as you can see, there's still jalapenos growing here. They just haven't stopped producing. And then this basil plant, as you can see, that has bolted. And I've just, at this point, just let it. Over here, we've got a watermelon plant that also, I thought it had died, and I almost tore it out, but it came back again. And I think the weather got a little bit cooler, and we started getting a little more rain, and so it just came back. And I actually have a couple of melons that are in there that are going strong. So I don't think they're gonna get much bigger. They are pretty small watermelons, but we did eat a couple of them, and they're very sweet. This bed right here, I had planted a couple more jalapeno bushes. Ron really likes the peppers, so I had planted a couple of more, and oh, they actually put on some fruit. These are the first jalapenos for this. Other things I have planted in here, I've got some onions, I think they're sweet Walla Walla onions maybe, and then I had planted some broccoli. As you can see, my broccoli has been an utter fail. The worms have gotten all of my broccoli plants, no matter what I have done, and I am just so frustrated with my lack of ability to grow broccoli, but there you go. Maybe someday I'll figure it out. I actually did have one bed farther down that hasn't completely died, and I sprayed some BT on it. So I don't know, we'll see if that works. This bed is full of carrots. First time I have successfully grown carrots, so I'm pretty excited about that. I had tried a couple other times and failed miserably again because I think it was just too hot and too dry. I'm showing you all my failures. This pumpkin plant Ron had planted earlier this summer before I got here. And as you can see, it looks pretty mutilated. The squash bugs got to it, and so I just cut it back really hard and then left the pumpkins that survived there to continue to grow. And so far, they don't look terrible. They're tiny pumpkins, but they're super cute, and we'll take it. This bed here is potatoes, and they are volunteers. Ron had planted spring potatoes and they really just didn't take. But a couple of the potatoes that did survive, we had replanted in here, and I didn't think they were going to come up, but turns out they did, and all of a sudden here they are. So they actually crowded out some broccoli that I had planted in there that were eaten by worms anyway. This plant, and along with several others that I'll show you, these are cucuzzi squash. Cucuzzi squash I had never heard of until we saw it on one of our homesteader YouTube channels, and he had grown them to feed to his pigs, and Ron thought that was a brilliant idea. So he planted several beds, I think 4 or 5, which at the time I was very annoyed about, of cucuzzi squash, and they did amazing. And I'll show you what one looks like here when I find one. They're almost done for the summer, but they are just these big curly Q squash that we've been feeding to the pigs. Also in this bed here, I planted a few weeks ago, I planted some butternut squash. I don't know if they're going to produce enough or grow enough before the real winter comes, but again, I'm learning, we'll see. But I'm really excited about them. I just think they're super cute. So I really love my garden arches, and these garden arches are made out of cattle panels and T-posts that we pounded into the beds and then secured them with some wire. But in this particular bed is tomatoes and cucumbers. The cucumbers, as you can see, have mostly died off, although there's still 1 or 2 hanging on there. They just keep on coming. But a lot of the cucumbers at this point we're just feeding to the cows or the pigs, because we are definitely done pickling for the year. We made a lot of pickles, and these are pickling cucumbers, so they're not really good for fresh eating. And then these tomatoes, hopefully that they will ripen so that I can do something with them. And there's one that's getting pink. I can pick here shortly. There is a wasp nest in this arch right now, so I've been really hesitant to prune back that cucumber plant. This guy is just a prolific cantaloupe. Oh, and that's my life. Puppy and kitty wrestles. This cantaloupe plant is so prolific. Again, I thought it had died. I thought it was done for the summer. And then all of a sudden, the weather cooled down and it started raining more. And now I have just got melons just growing everywhere. Hopefully, I will get to some of them before the bugs do. I've been really hesitant to stick my hands in here. We have a lot of snakes in the farm down here in Arkansas, which scares me a lot. I never stick my hand anywhere that I can't see. I do have covers for the beds, and as you can see, not a lot of the beds are covered right now just because the bug pressure has really reduced now that the weather is a little bit cooler. And so I have a lot of the beds uncovered right now, but the covers I just have kind of stuffed at the end of the bed. If I feel like I need to cover them, I can. But it's been raining a bit, and I wanted these beds to get all that lovely rain, so I had uncovered a lot of them. This one I still have covered because it had some broccoli in it, and my broccoli, like I said, is just keeps getting eaten. But as you can see, I still have a few plants that aren't completely wrecked, and so we'll see if I ever get any broccoli out of here. This bed over here, clearly mostly grass. I had put some straw in these beds as a little bit of a moisture barrier, a cover, and it works great for keeping in moisture, but also obviously had a lot of grass seed in it, which kind of annoyed me, but it is what it is. There are carrots in here. Clearly it needs to be rapidly thinned. I had tried planting several different things in this bed, and it just wouldn't take. I think initially planted broccoli, and that wasn't having it. Then I tried planting spinach, and that didn't take. And so then I ended up just tossing a bunch of carrot seeds in there, and those finally did take. And so that is what is in this bed right now, is just a ton of carrots, and so I need to thin it out. But I also noticed a couple of days ago that some of those spinach seeds are actually finally coming up. So maybe I will have both spinach and carrots in this bed. Here is one of the cucuzzi squash that I was talking about, and it's really just this long, curlicue squash. It's pretty unique. They just get massive. This one actually is not very big, but you can see that's the size of my hand, and some of them have just been absolutely massive. And then we've got another cucuzzi squash down here that's up on a cattle panel. Again, a lot of the things that I've grown this year like to trellis. And I think they're pretty and it works really well. The more you can keep things off of the ground, better the bug pressure. Like, it kind of keeps the bug pressure down. This garden bed I have right here is lavender and echinacea. I've been really impressed with this bed, again, with how much it has come back. I had cut back this lavender pretty hard about a month ago, thinking that it's almost fall, and you know, I've just been Googling things as I go, like how do you care for lavender? And I had seen a couple videos and read that, you know, you're supposed to cut back your lavender in the fall and get it prepared for next year. And so I had done that, and it just decided to keep on growing. So it has put on a bunch of new buds, and which has been amazing because I've been able to continue to harvest and dry more lavender to infuse in oils, which I've just really been enjoying doing. And I actually have an Etsy shop up now. If you guys are interested, check out the Etsy shop. It's got some infused lavenders and body scrubs and other things that I've made with my prolific basil and other things that I've been able to successfully grow this year. So check that out. This bed here was thus far has been a flop. I had planted, again, a couple of different things in this bed, and I was using dried leaf for mulch, which, so I was kind of, you know, experimenting with a couple of different things for mulch. I had tried leaves, I had tried straw. I will say the straw works great, but I was annoyed at the grass seeds in there. I've just got all kinds of visitors here that want to be underfoot. I prefer the leaf mulch just because of that, because I don't have to worry about the grass seed, and it does keep the soil nice and moist. As you can see underneath, I don't know if you can tell, but the dirt is just so nice and moist. And so I do prefer the leaf mulch, but for whatever reason, I planted too late, or I planted too early, or whatever the case may be. I've got one broccoli plant and I have one beet. So you guys get to enjoy all of my failures as I learn here. This bed is kale, or at least partially kale. Again, covered this bed with seed, and for whatever reason, you know, some came up over here and then some came up over here. I have harvested a bunch of this kale already and used it in soups and in my smoothies. It's just been absolutely gorgeous. And this is the season for kale. Kale is a cold season veggie. Now that the heat of summer has passed, I think that my kale and my spinach and my carrots will actually start to grow. It does get really hot here in Arkansas in the summertime, and it's also very humid. So now that we're in October, so it's actually getting down to about 50 degrees at night, and then in the daytime, in the heat of day, it's getting up to about 80 degrees. So my plants are just really loving this weather. Still sunny and beautiful. Every once in a while we're getting a nice rain, but the temperatures are just a lot more manageable. We have got my spinach bed over here that are starting to come on. Hopefully I'll get some good spinach out of here. Spinach is the thing that we eat the most in this house. We have a lot of autoimmune diseases in the family, and so one of the things that we do is every morning we have a green shake, and that green shake is a blender shoved to the brim with spinach. And so hopefully, at least in this cool season that we have going on right now, I'll be able to grow some of my own spinach and stop buying so much from the grocery store. We use about probably 4 pounds of spinach a week. Hopefully we can use the garden to help supplant some of that. And then in this other arch I have here, I had planted some more tomatoes about a month or two ago, and they're doing great. Again, hopefully they will ripen before it starts getting too cold, but they are paste tomatoes. I really wanted to can some tomatoes this year, and again, I just wasn't here in the spring to plant. Hopefully these will ripen enough that I will have some canning before the winter sets in. And then I've got a little rhubarb plant here in a bucket that Ron planted. And I had so much rhubarb up in Alaska, and I really love rhubarb. And I wasn't sure, I kind of wish I had transplanted some from Alaska, but I didn't know if it would survive. I know there's different varieties of rhubarb, and I really just don't know what will work in Arkansas. So far, this rhubarb plant is doing okay as long as it gets plenty of water, but the stalks are really skinny. And so we'll see. It's yet to be determined. Maybe this winter and next spring it will become a little more hardy. I have hope for it yet. And then we do have one raspberry plant here that has survived. Dad had planted several, and this is the only one that has survived. And I've also tried taking several clippings off of this plant to try and propagate and make more raspberries. And so far we have not been successful. Again, I think it was just too hot. This one really did put on some beautiful berries this year. Not a ton, but it's getting bigger and bigger. So hopefully next year we'll have lots more berries. Another thing that we have been trying to plant more of are chestnut trees. We really want to line our drive. It's called Stonehaven Drive. It's this very long, winding road that leads up to our house from our front gate archway. That's just totally beautiful. And we wanted to line the drive with chestnut trees. So we've been trying to grow trees from chestnut seeds, and I currently have several pounds of chestnuts that are in the fridge in their cold stratification process, which I am not smart enough to explain to you how that works. We'll have to get a hold of Dad for that. But we did manage to grow a few trees this year from seeds, and they don't look amazing. Again, it's just been so hot, and I probably didn't give them enough water during the hottest part of the summer. We are planning on planting these seedlings here shortly. I had bought some tree protector tubes on Amazon, and they recently came in the mail. So we're going to be planting these chestnut trees soon in the ground, and hopefully eventually 10, 20 years from now, I might not be alive to see it, but we will have chestnut trees lining Stonehaven Drive. And these are those little baby chestnut trees. Again, they don't look super amazing right now, but we have them planted in these little plastic tubes, and we'll be planting them in the ground here shortly. Hopefully once they get into the ground, they'll be much happier. Thanks for coming with me on my garden tour this morning, guys. That's all I've got for you for now, and we'll see you guys soon.